Welcome to game one of the draft with the almost mono-Tempys deck that we just drafted. Playing against Carnivorous, who's player one here and is a little bit slow to start. Uh, Unfortunate that I have both my Cinderfist Brawler and my Windcaller Shaman in the opening draw. Certainly I'd like to be able to play the Windcaller Shaman the turn after the Cinderfist Brawler. Probably what I'm looking to do here is play Cinderfist Brawler into one lane and Ashurian Mystic into a different lane. Put pressure on my opponent, force him to block both of those. Depends a little bit on what he's playing, but some decks want to play creatures into empty lanes, and doing a start like Brawler plus Mystic can make it difficult. Also, I could toss out... Ooh. There's Nexus Pilot. Ouch. I was going to say I could also toss out a Volcanic Giant. I don't have good answers to Nexus Pilot. Really, I'd like to block a Nexus Pilot with like a Stormcaller. Again, I think the original plan was reasonably solid, so let's try this. Ouch, Nexus Pilot. Yeah, so I'm going to toss out the Stormcaller to block the Nexus Pilot, because I think that's pretty much the only reasonable way that I can deal with a Nexus Pilot without spending two cards. Unfortunately, it's still an advantage to him because the Nexus Pilot levels up a little bit better than the Stormcaller does. And so his Nexus Pilot 2 is probably more of an asset to him than my Stormcaller 2. So it's a trade in his favor, but I think I need to make it anyway because I don't have better options. And then maybe I Lightning Bolt the thing in front of my Cinderfist Brawler, or maybe I put a Predator on the board. We'll see. I'd like to level up my Predator, but depends a little bit on what he plays. Looks like he's playing a little bit slowly. Nexus Pilot, another one of those cards that doesn't see a lot of play in Constructed, but is quite strong at Draft. I think Nexus Pilot really peaks at level 2. Being able to put a 10-14 into the center lane is just huge impact during mid-game. In fact, when your opponent is playing Nexus Pilot, it's important to pay special attention to the middle lane and to try to always have a plan in the back of your mind for what you'll do if your opponent drops a huge creature into the middle lane next turn. Oftentimes it means you want to put your strongest creatures into the middle lane. Let's see, double Glutton, interesting. So the question is, so I can get 14 damage onto my opponent by killing his Glutton. That's tempting. I'm going to need to do the Stormcaller. Other option is to put out a Predator. I think I'm going to hit him with the Cinderfist and level up my Lightning Spark. I think having a leveled Lightning Spark is not going to be something I regret. And I might get mileage out of the Lightning Spark later on. Also, he's probably going to have to spend a... oh, interesting. I was going to say... Oh, and then he Epidemics. Okay. So, yeah, that... essentially there he spent 2 cards to kill my Cinderfist Brawler, but because he played the Technosmith, it puts him in a stronger position... Yeah, because he played the Technosmith, it puts him in a stronger position going forward. He has the extra leveled up card. Let's see, Water Walker. He's already played his Epidemic. He probably doesn't have 2 Epidemics. Water Walker is a strong creature. Mid-game. Tempting to level up the Water Walker. The other option is to do the Scorpion and the Bruiser. Scorpion and Bruiser together probably put the most amount of pressure on him. But I think I'm... let's see. I think I'm quite interested. because he's playing the Technosmith strategy, and he's got the Nexus Pilot, which is a scary card later on in the game. I think having strong level 2 cards available to me is going to be quite useful. And then I'm going to toss out the Bruiser as well. Bruiser will just buff himself. And now I hope I don't get hit by a... I hope I don't get hit by a Banshee here. Or I guess there's a number of things that he could use to trade favorably with my Water Walker. But that's I think acceptable because it puts such a strong creature into my deck. General on the edge lane is a suboptimal play for him, so yes, he gets a favorable trade, but it's not... he's not going to get much use out of the General because of its positioning. I'm very happy to play my Flame Shaper, get that leveled up. I would love to see Flame Shaper during player level 2. Let's do... so I'm going to play the Flame Shaper, and then... interesting call here. Actually, I probably misplayed there. Probably wanted to put the Flame Shaper across from his General. Oh well. And could play the Graveborn Glutton across from his General. That actually might be a... or I could level up the other Water Walker. But I don't have... I worry about playing out the Water Walker at this point. He's probably going to play out a level 2 card. He was going to get access to his Epidemic again, potentially, although the Epidemic also does a number on the Glutton. Hopefully he doesn't draw the Epidemic next turn, but you never know. Yeah, hard to know which creature I want leveled up. Glutton is Glutton's an 11/8, but goes into a stronger level 3 creature. Water Walker is a 12/9, but is a weaker level 3 creature. I think I'm going to do the Glutton. So, because I have a Flame Shaper 2 in my deck, the Flame Shaper 2 also says that I should generally err on the side of leveling up Nekrium cards, because when I draw if I have my Flame Shaper 2, if I'm fortunate enough to get the Flame Shaper 2, I'm going to want level 1 Tempest cards as opposed to level 1 Nekrium cards in my hand. But that's a very minor consideration. Okay, here's my Glutton. Actually, it looks like I have both my Glutton and my Water Walker, so whichever one of those cards I would have leveled, I was going to draw it on turn 5. Avalanche Invoker comes one turn too late, but that's the way these things work. Probably I'm just going to play the 2 level 2s here, the Graveborn Glutton and the Stormcaller, but depends a little bit on what he does. Interesting. So I like Stormcaller opposite his General because the General the General can't kill the Stormcaller even in 2 attacks. And then I could run... I don't really want to run our Gluttons into each other, so I'm going to play the Glutton here and accept the 11 damage. I think this hand is going to offer me a lot of options. I've got the 7/7 Avatar, which could be a play. Bruiser I could use to trade with the Glutton and then put his defensive bonus on another card, perhaps my Glutton. Lightning Spark 2 could Lightning Spark the General in order to get my Stormcaller through, for example. Let's see what he does. Warbringer Oronti. Unfortunately, his Glutton has 4 health instead of 3. If I could get the trade with the Warbringer Oronti, that would be a fun play, but board isn't quite set up for it. I've certainly had situations where around this point in the game I am able to use a Warbringer Oronti to kill a level 2 creature with a little bit of health, while simultaneously getting some extra damage through in a different lane. Another glutton. Interesting. So, so I think I'm very happy to see him put the Unrelenting Dead into the middle lane. I'm going to ignore the Unrelenting Dead for the time being, and the advantage from my point of view is that if he draws his Nexus Pilot 2, he would be forced to overwrite the Unrelenting Dead, which is a small win for me. Here I want to Lightning Spark his Graveborn Glutton, play my Bruiser here, buffing my Graveborn Glutton. The 11-12 creature will be a little bit difficult for him to deal with. And I have 2 aggressive high-attack creatures in lanes 2 and 3, about to play out a Mystic on my next turn. So this situation is actually looking pretty good for me. Our health totals are very, very similar. I'm still worried about seeing his Nexus Pilot, although fortunately he'd have to overwrite the Unrelenting Dead. Also, I am not excited to see his Epidemic 2, which could kill off my Stormcaller and weaken my Glutton. Also a little bit concerned about whatever he leveled with Technosmith, since I'm not sure what that card is, and likely is some sort of nasty Aloyan creature. So this is really an Abomination deck. That's okay. So I'll toss out an Ashurian Mystic, and again, I'm willing to take the damage from Unrelenting Dead. I'm happy to have the Unrelenting Dead taking up space in the middle lane, and this allows me to put out another reasonably large threat in my Stormcaller. Possible that blocking the Unrelenting Dead was better, but I don't think I care a whole lot about the 8 damage right now, and I'm more interested in getting this game over with. Magma Hound would be a great way to take out his Unrelenting Dead, depending on what he does here. This is also a situation where I might consider hitting Lightning Brand on the Water Walker to get 12 damage through, again, depending on what the board situation looks like. Yeah, so he has to waste an 8/8 Technosmith to take out my Graveborn Glutton. That's... Magma Hound to kill the Frankenbomb, or get a trade in that lane. And then I'm going to play my Water Walker. I don't think I have a strong... Don't think it really matters to me what lane I play it in. And I have my other Mystic. Yeah, his life total's going down quickly. I'm actually sad to see 2 Lightning... I'm sad at the beginning of player level 3 to see 2 Lightning Brands and a Lightning Spark. These are both... these are all level 1 cards. Oh, there's his Epidemic. Oh, well. These are all level 1 cards that I can use to get damage through on my opponent. And at this point in the game... getting damage onto my opponent is very important, and so when I inevitably get like an all level 1 draw later in this round, I would wish that I had my Lightning Spark or my Lightning Brands available. Still, this is this 14-24 Mystic is going to be a major pain for him to deal with. Yeah, so if I had a Lightning Brand, for example, to go with the Cinderfist Brawler or the Stormcaller, that would allow me to finish him off. But as it is, he concedes, and that is game 1. Tempest deck worked essentially how I wanted it to work, and I will see you in game 2.